This is an interesting moment. I see it as one of those tests. You never know how you're gonna come out of it. It's gonna get interesting, I think, from here on out. Depending on what happens. Could be nothing. But this is one of those things where I think at this point I firmly believe trust is important to have in your YouTube commentators, right? It's important to earn your audience's trust. It's important to stay consistent, and it's important to be as transparent as possible. And I think that I've done that. I'm sure there are people that are going to say I haven't, but I think they're going to be hard-pressed to bring up an instance when it's happened. Now, there have been a couple of times where I have had my viewpoint changed. I have evolved as a person. And if anybody wants to point to any of those situations, I have video evidence that to show the transition. So, bring it on. I like doing those videos. Pwnage videos can be fun. I've gotten to do 2. I don't know. It can be fun. I understand why people do them. It's a personal thing. It becomes personal to you. Anyways, going off on a tangent. Forgive me. I think it's important to stay consistent. I think it's important because that way I earn your trust. For those of you whose trust I've earned, thank you very much. And I'm going to call upon it in this instance. I'm going to recount to you the series of events to lead up to me making this video. Alright? Here's where the trust comes in. You're believing my word. I got a message on Facebook from Taylor Killer. He sent me a couple of links to videos where Sargon was fighting with Mr. Mediker. And I had no idea what it was about. I was at work. So, you know, I have no clue what it's about. I can't watch them. They were streams. They were like an hour long. So, you know, or one of them was. So I'm like, that's cool. I'll have to look into that when I get home, right? So, on my way home, listening to the radio, and they're talking about James Franco and his sex scandal, and I was like, oh, I want to talk about that. So I actually recorded the clip, James Franco, on who the fuck is it? Stephen Colbert. He was on with Stephen Colbert, and he was talking about that shit. And I had some more details from what the radio guys had told me, so, you know, it was gossip. It was just going to be pretty much a gossip video, really, all in all. But that was what I was going to do. I recorded it and everything. And get ready tomorrow talking about James Franco. Because unless something else fucking happens, I'm going to continue on with what I plan to do today. But this has fucking ousted that shit. Am I too bright? Am I really bright? Yeah, there we go. Let's dull it down a little bit. Some mood lighting. Yeah, got the Kakistan flag in the background. Very interesting. This video is very interesting. Anyways, so that was my plan, James Franco. And while I was, you know, motivating myself to start working, I was looking through people's videos, and I watched the Bearing video, and I saw that Sargon had made a video. So I decided to watch Sargon's video. And immediately, the idea of James Franco got bumped because this was just too goddamn funny. I recorded the video, started working, you know, obviously I'm watching it like the second time, so I'm working on my internal script, things I want to kind of say and whatnot, like general directions of where I'm going to go with things and shit like that. Part of the process, you know. And then I think more specifically about it as I'm cutting up sections, and then I do it freestyle, you know, whatever. So, yeah, I recorded the video, watched it twice, ready to roll with my thing. And then I saw in my suggested, Mr. Mediker and Sargon go at it. And I was like, oh, Taylor said I should check that out. I'm going to check that out. Started watching the video. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I can't listen to too much of this because this sounds like Mr. Mediker is about to have already fucking scooped my side of this. So I listened to like 5 minutes of it and I grabbed it. And we're going to check that out at the end. And as I was motivating myself to make this, after cutting it all up, I started listening to more of the stream. And I'm 21 minutes, 15 seconds in. And there's a series of events. I'm not going to have a whole lot of differing opinions from Mr. Mediker. So, you know, I just have to rely on your trust to believe that I'm not parroting what he's saying. I'm not parroting what he's saying. I had all these thoughts myself. And I like I said, 21 minutes, 15 seconds in, and I mean, they're jumping in and out of juicy stuff. Like, they're going everywhere. It's another great example of what I went over in the Joy versus Onision debate, the side paths, that somebody's always constantly leading you down side paths. You know what I mean? If you're so inclined and you have the time, it's 55 minutes, 22 seconds long. I would give it a listen and look for who's directing the side paths the most often. It's an interesting thing. I always love doing that because it makes me giggle. Because that's how I kind of judge who's losing. The person who's fucking drawing off topic the most. I don't know, you know, what that makes me look like as a person, that I use that kind of arbitrary method of deciding who wins a fucking debate. But I think it's very telling if you're the one, you're the only one. And I'm not saying that either of them are. I'm just saying if you're like the only one that's really leading off in different directions a whole lot, why? You know, whatever. That's even a whole nother video. We'll see what's happening after James Franco. I don't know. We might dig into this and look at some excerpts because it's very interesting. But anyways, so yeah, I am about to present you with the video as I was going to make it before I had all the rest of this information. You have the series of events, and you have my word. Choose to believe it or not. It's up to you. But here we go. I think I might have to have a cigarette for this one. This is one that stresses me out. This is one of those videos that stresses me out. I hate doing these fucking videos. I get this way every time I do a Susan Wojcikowski video. Because it's like, holy shit, what if Susan watches it? And this is one of those things where I'm like, this could be the next Joy situation if I wind up getting too involved in this. And I've walked this path before. I don't know if I could take it again. If this gets really fucking dirty, if I see a video of Sargon going crazy, dude. But it's just, man, there was a big lull. There was a big lull. You know? There's been a big lull. And now shit's kicking off. And it's just building and building and building. I almost don't even want to fucking press a button. I almost don't even want to do this video. You know, James Franco's in trouble.
I received a message from a long-time subscriber regarding my debate with Richard Spencer that really changed my mind on how I'd been looking at the event. He pointed out that while it is important not to live only in the estimation of others, that wasn't an excuse for being selfish.
Now, I want to stop it real quick right here. I just want to say this one thing. I've noticed very often in YouTube debates that both sides walk away saying that they won. So, I don't know. I haven't listened to that one either. But, you know, shit. So, I gotta listen to that still too. I mean, I don't know who I'd say won. But I don't even know what Sargon's opinion of it was. He doesn't even really actually explain. I don't know if he thinks he won. Jesus Christ. Alright, well, let's continue.
And to his mind, that's precisely what I had been during the debate. He noted that I had responsibilities beyond myself and that I had not been taking these seriously. And I think that's a very fair point. I had not been considering the people who may feel like they rely on me, and that I am not just a content creator, but a representative of something larger than myself, and should have been mindful of that at the time.
Now, I will say this. The man has a large following. Right? He's the biggest of YouTube commentators, right? Like, isn't he? Philip DeFranco. Anyways, he's kind of like King Shithead, you know, King Shitlord, whatever. Fucking, you know, that's kind of Sargon. And you know, I can understand the call to action or whatever, or a feeling that he has a calling to be, you know, step up and take leadership of something. But I don't know, like, it gets really complex. Let's unpack this further.
And by all accounts, this is probably true. I'm certainly being treated as the figurehead of something, even if nobody can define it, and our enemies would describe it as skeptic community.
Now, anytime I've heard him referenced as the stepfather or any of that kind of shit, it's always kind of like sarcastic to me. Maybe I'm not reading it right, but it always kind of comes off sarcastic to me. Like, he has the biggest channel of the shitlords or whatever, but he's just a dude, you know, he's a YouTube guy. There but for the grace of God go I. You know what I mean? Like, so he's a good talker, and he's hit some key events, and he's had some luck, but he's the king of the shitlords. I don't know. He feels a calling, but he's the king of the shitlords.
I've never liked this label, firstly because it represents only a reaction to something else, and secondly because it means we are allowing our enemies to define us.
Yeah, and that's kind of the crux of it. We kind of eschew the definitions. We go, yeah, that's your fucking definition, but I'm applying it practically. So, you know, like, the definition of literal is absolutely something and not that. So, it's the definitions that are goofy. So you're like, we're letting them define us. And that's kind of our argument, is fuck your definition. And now you're going, so we're going to define us instead. You did that. And I'm proudly flying the flag, my man. So, I don't know, it's just very weird. It's very weird.
However, having a large group of independent-minded individualists agree on a label that will encompass a specific set of core beliefs is difficult.
Yeah, because we don't fucking like the labels, and we don't really all share core beliefs. Like, we disagree on a lot of things. I've done videos on people that I disagreed with, things that they've done. I had a disagreement with Waz. Love Waz. And he, he kind of put me on Sargon's channel. His fucking stupid yellow head was over my face, but you can see my hat and the heating pad. I was there. But, like, I took it as a direct answer to me because he was using my footage, in his video. And it was another one of those situations where somebody totally changed my mind on something. I want to see people fight bears. But I don't know. The labels, like, we don't do the groups. We should talk to groups. It's very weird.
Frankly, I don't know what to choose. I'm not worried about how the enemies of liberalism will view it, or what they'll try to do with it.
Dude, I'm flying the flag. That's what they're gonna do with it. Anything you come up with is gonna be a white supremacist Nazi thing, because that's what everything is, white supremacist Nazi thing. That's why they're trying to get white supremacist Nazis labeled as terrorist groups, so that they can make you a terrorist, dude. Like, everything you do is going to be a white supremacist Nazi thing. Because you're Sargon. And that's what everybody says about you. You're the king of the shitlords, dude.
But I am concerned that we have been resting on our laurels for far too long.
Our laurels? What have we done? We've made some people look stupid. It's not a great accomplishment. Because their ideas are stupid. Frankly, it's a fucking shame that we have to make these videos. It's common fucking sense, most of it. Some of it's complex, but Jesus Christ, Don't believe everything you hear on the fucking internet. It's not a ridiculous concept. So, I don't know, to hear this from a guy on the internet, very weird. It's just very weird. It's just coming off really weird to me, dude. King of shitlords. It's very weird.
And we need to start organizing. The iron law of activism is that while you do nothing, nothing will change. The highly organized, well-funded, and deeply entrenched power structure of the extreme left will continue to subsume the institutions of our countries within its ideological sphere of influence.
Now, see, I totally agree. I absolutely agree. I absolutely think that there needs to become organizations of people that combat or whatever. But you gotta understand, they're gonna get crushed. Because, as you've pointed out, we lost so much ground. It's gonna take a long time to gain that ground. But I don't think that you're icon that's going to do it, because you're talking about making a political organization, essentially, and what you're the I wouldn't even rape you, dude. Like, you're talking about playing their game. You're going to have to play their game. You realize that, right? You're going to have to play their game. You're going to have to beat them at their game. It's easy, because they're stupid. But you're going to have to still beat them at their game. You're going to have to talk their language. You're going to have to be boogie. You know what I mean? You're going to have to be able to sit down with Denise Sarkeesian. You're going to have to be able to sit down with Congress if you're talking about doing the same type of shit. You're the king of shitlords. You're the I wouldn't even rape you dude. In the environment that is currently here, you're so easy to discredit. Like, I think it's going to be so damaging. I don't like this move.
I am so sick and tired of people saying, well, ragging on bedroom feminists is so passé. Well, yes, which is why people don't do it. But I don't know whether anyone is paying attention, but the far left is making power grab after power grab.
Yeah, and they're winning. Like, it's too late for you to be the voice of this. That was fucking 3 or 4 years ago. Dude, you can't do it just simply because of your past. They love to dredge that shit up. And you're the he wouldn't even rape you dude. And they've already spun that. Made it bad. But now you're talking about spinning that to the populace at large. There are people out there that think Donald Trump is raping women in the White House as we speak because he said grab him by the pussy. I wouldn't even rape you. Well, who would you rape? Dude!
Consuming more and more of our once liberal free societies and subjugating them to their dogmatic racial and gendered planning. While SJWs rack up victory after victory, we cannot even decide on a label.
And there's the thing, man. Who gives a fuck? Clearly you're fucking talking about starting a political organization. So do that. You're the liberalist party or whatever. Make your organization. The labels will come. And they're all going to be Nazi and KKK white supremacists. Don't worry about that. The labels will come. It doesn't even matter what the fuck you call yourself. They're going to call you something different. And they're going to do it so fast, you're not even going to have a chance to defend yourself. Because you're the king of the shitlords.
My concerned subscriber is right. I had not been taking this seriously.
Dude, you're still not really taking this seriously.
But there are serious consequences for everyone, and we must start pushing back as a united front with a way to identify one another and assert a powerful set of values, which I believe should be centered upon the individual, their rights, and respect for their personal agency.
And I love all that. But what you said is very true. There are costs to doing this. People have families and lives. And you're asking them to gamble on a third party. You have to get people elected to affect this kind of change. You realize that, right? Like, who gives a fuck what you're called if you can't get people elected? Have you considered that? I think that's an important first step. I think the name can wait a while. How are you going to get your candidate elected? How are you going to get your message across in a way that's actually going to affect change? How are you going to campaign for them? How are you going to wash the stink of King of the Shitlords off of you so that you can do any of this? It's like your Cenk. Except the shit he did was fucking 20 years ago or whatever. And the shit you did was last year. Or the year before, whatever. Fucking, dude.
In my estimation, this is the spirit of liberalism, and is what is needed for the individual and the wider society in which they exist to thrive. We must positively assert this, and not just on the internet. As we learned in 2017, doing almost anything in real life is far more effective than doing it on the internet, even if it's something as simple as sitting in an audience.
Fair enough. But what are you going to do? Protest? Because that inevitably leads to fights. Like, what are you talking about? What are you going to do? You going to go have talks? Conservative people have talks all the time. Libertarians have talks all the time. Liberalists have talks all the time. And what? They're talking to the same people. You gotta change the opinions of people. That's the key. You're just wanting to fight fire with fire. We're gonna get our people elected now. But your people need to be in the Republican Party. Because this third party shit don't work. They always lose. You know? So, how are you going to get somebody elected? How are you going to find a candidate that's going to be able to, in this day and age, say any of the things that you want them to say? And win. I'm not saying it's not a worthy cause. I'm just saying I'd have rather seen that video than what are we going to call ourselves?
If we want to see a future in which people are not oppressed because of their race, gender, sexuality, or lack thereof, then we cannot wait passively as the forces of social justice advance and enround us.
Very dramatic.
To this end, I will do a tactical analysis of the current state of the war against intersectionality and its oppressive goal of remaking the West along collectivist lines so we can see the full scope of the problem, and I shall create a modest organisation around which we can focus our efforts.
I don't know. Like, shouldn't you have done that first? You know?
I will be performing more live events and attending various conferences and conventions around the world, and I will notify you in advance, so if you wish to join me, the opportunity will be available to you. And to those who felt I did not do my duty, you are correct, and I apologise.
Hey man, that's cool. If you feel a calling to do this, that's awesome. I think you're going to have a lot of challenges ahead of you. And I think you're going about this wrong. You're starting at the wrong place at the very, very least. I don't know. I'm sure you're working on it. I'm sure you're thinking about it. You're a smart guy. I don't think that I'm telling you anything you haven't already thought. But I'd much rather seen that video. Like, I don't give a fuck what you want to call it. I want to know how you're going to get somebody elected. I want to know how you're actually going to do something. And I want to know how you're going to do it being you. Because you're so easy to shit on. And you want to go mainstream with it. You going to be on CNN? You going to be on Fox? You going to have to talk with Tucker? Like, and these things are going to get brought up, man. What are you going to do?
I did not take the situation seriously, and I allowed a foolish blunder to take place. But this will not happen again. You have my word.
Well, don't lie to me, man. Like, you said that, and that's awesome. Don't lie to me.
To identify ourselves, I recommend we choose a label and stick with it. If someone who promotes feminism is a feminist, and someone who promotes socialism is a socialist, and someone who promotes Islamism is an Islamist, and someone who promotes fascism is a fascist, then someone who promotes liberalism must be a liberalist. I say that we use this label until it's dead or we find something better.
Would you like to know more?
Liberal. We already have that, don't we? They're liberals. Am I crazy? You think that's going to get confused? I think that's going to get confused. Liberalism, people are going to call you liberals. It's these kinds of things that make me question if you're really actually taking this serious. Because this dude, you're talking about taking on the cause on your own shoulders. You're talking about really fucking doing, the thing. And to be able to do that, you have to be able to play their game. You have to be able to beat them at their game. And you can't be a shitlord and do that. More than half of the country voted for Hillary, man. Like, if Oprah runs next year, you're tanked. How are you going to get a candidate elected? How long is this going to take? Who are going to be your mouthpieces? What's going to be your role? Because if you're put out there, it's going to crush it. You're not even going to get off the ground. I don't know. I want to wish you the best of luck. I mean, I hope it happens. I think it'd be fantastic. I think there needs to be a group actively going against the fucking horse shit. But I think it needs to be chosen a lot more carefully. I get you have a calling. You can't be the face of this. You can't really even be involved. 'Cause you're the king of shitlords. Dun dun dun!